Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the finer points of doing a rowing exercise. Just to give you a bit of an idea on how you could be more efficient. And we're just going to do a standing version because practicing this movement standing makes it a little bit easier rather than sitting. And everything we're going to talk about just directly translates to doing it seated or however you do rows, actually. It doesn't matter if you use cables or weights or whether you use rubber bands or the TRX, or it's always kind of the same movement, okay? So rows, in simple terms, would be this movement right here, okay? Now, that movement starts by pulling your shoulders back, lifting your chest up, and then when you can't go any further, meaning my shoulders are as far back as I can pull them right now, and my chest is pretty much lifted as much as I can, and at this point I'm going to follow through with the arms and finish the movement, okay? So what you have to understand about a row is that it is a shoulder movement, not an arm movement, okay? So what we really want to do is bring your shoulders back, bring your shoulders forward, bring your shoulders back, bring your shoulders forward. Now, because our fingers are on our hands and we can grab the weight with our fingers, we basically hold on to the weight like that. It's not necessarily the ideal placement. For example, if we could put the resistance, if we had fingers on our elbows and we could grab it this way and do the exercise with the elbows, it would be more effective because it naturally would contract the right muscles. Here's the common mistake with a row. People don't move the shoulder and just do this arm movement. So if you see here, there is no shoulder moving back and forth. So I'm just doing kind of this movement. That's what most people do when they do rows, okay? Until they obviously learn better. But you'll have people do this forever and never get corrected or never ask or don't have anybody to tell them. So then you're doing a row, but you're really not doing any good, okay? So think about shoulder movement, okay? And then the arm comes with it at the end. So if we start here, we first bring the shoulder back all the way, then try to lift up your chest, which is essentially bending the spine. And then when you're maxed out the shoulder back and when you maxed out bending the spine, then you follow through with the arms, okay? And the arms are really not that important. For example, touching here, if you can't do it, if you stop right there, because this is how you can do it clean, and then to touch that last little bit, you do this. Just don't touch, stay back there. So touching here is not a big accomplishment. The accomplishment is getting this back, okay? That's the hard part. So again, starting point, shoulders first, chest up, follow through. And go out in the reverse. In the reverse, the arms go first, arms straighten out, and then you let your shoulders go all the way forward. And start with the shoulder, bring it back. Okay? So, a little smoother and one smooth movement, shoulders, chest, arms. Arms and all the way down, or all the way forward. So if you then add some upper body movement to it, for example, like if you were to be seated, you would do some of that movement. It doesn't change anything, okay? It's just an added movement that should happen at the hip. So you bend over at the hip, but here at the top, your shoulders still come back first, chest up, and then follow through, okay? And if you can imagine that the resistance would be behind the elbow rather than pulling your hands towards you, you would think, okay, pull the elbow back. It actually will help you do it correctly. And you got to make sure that you do it until your shoulders are all the way back. The other thing is that when we're talking about shoulders back, a lot of people squeeze their elbows together, and you don't need to do that. The shoulder movement and elbow movement are independent. You can have your shoulder all the way back and have your elbow out. So squeezing your elbows in becomes a distraction, and it does not necessarily bring your shoulders back because you can have your elbow all the way in and still have your shoulder forward. Okay? So let your elbows naturally go where they want to go, which will be in about a 45-degree angle. So if I do this exercise right about there, it's kind of where they want to go naturally. Okay, they want to go naturally in about a 45-degree angle right there. Just let them do that. You don't have to manipulate them. You want to think about the shoulders, chest, and try not to pull with the hands, pull with the elbows, even though you're holding on to the weight. Think of them more, of your hands more as hooks. If this was a rope with a hook, just kind of hook the weight and then just hold on to it, but shift your thinking to the shoulders and the elbows and lifting the chest up, okay? Give that a try. With a little bit of practice, that's going to improve a lot.